Take it away, Jack. How many we got this week?
Like 6 or 8.
Woohoo! That was close.
That is. There's no way that's only. Yeah, it's 9.
Okay, so 8 was a pretty good guess.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
but 6 was nowhere close. Got 150% of that.
I think my first one is indeed a typo, but thankfully I realized it before I said it. But welcome to the Technical Fowl stock market, where we will buy or sell college football takes. It has nothing to do. It does not work at all like an actual stock market. It's just simply, do I agree or disagree with this take? First one, Big Ten will win the national championship this year. A Big Ten team, buy or sell. I'll go first. I'm going to buy because I currently have teams 1 and 2 being from the Big Ten, and so I like those odds personally. And in an Ohio State win or an Indiana win, there's other teams I could see winning it, but those are the ones I feel most confident in, and they're both from the Big Ten. So I'm going to buy.
I'm also buying. Yeah, I think Ohio State and Indiana are the 2 best teams in the country, and they're essentially guaranteed, assuming Ryan Day doesn't choke in the big house, which is very well still on the table because Michigan is no pushover. They will both be in the top 4, meaning they'll have the bye, meaning those 2 teams, the 2 best teams in the country for my eyes, only have to win 3 games to win the ship. And I think of the teams that I would pick to only need to win 3 games, I think those are the 2 best teams that are going to have the best chance. So I'm going to buy.
Sanders?
If you're going to sell, tell us who.
That's what I'm trying to decide.
Because I know
And-
you weren't picking Alabama.
No, I literally said
Legally you can't.
4 weeks ago that if I had to pick a team to win the championship right now, I think it was Alabama.
Might as well say roll tide again.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I won't be saying roll tide this weekend.
Good.
And I am going to, because if I take the field, I have A&M, Alabama, Georgia, BYU.
JMU.
Texas Tech.
It's A&M, Alabama, Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas Tech. I wish it was just Indiana, Ohio State, because then I get Oregon thrown in there, but I do get Notre Dame. But I also think I'm going to stick with the bye. I think I'm going to go safe here because Indiana and Ohio State are both so good. I think it is the right call to take one of those 2 winning it.
Okay. Next one. This is a rehash stock. We're bringing it back up so people can change their mind. It's buy or sell JMU to make the playoffs. The chaos in the American has unfolded just perfectly for them, and they need it to continue, along with them continuing to win games. They've lost the one to Louisville, and that's it. They just are rolling in the Sun Belt. Buy or sell JMU to make the playoffs. I'll kick this one off, too. I'm going to buy. Go Dukes. I think they're the best group of 5 team, so they're who I would put in the playoffs. That's not what the stock is. It's not who's the best group of 5 team. But I hope they continue to win out, and I think that they will. And given the chaos in the American, they'll end up getting put in over the American team.
I'm buying. I'm all over it. And I actually think
You think they may win a game?
they will cover the spread in whatever game
Okay,
they play.
I like that.
I think they will be competitive in that game, even as a group of 5 team, because I think they have the skilled players to do that. I think the only spot they aren't is if they're just like completely overmatched from a talent profile. Like if A&M was somehow the 5 seed, I just don't know if they're competitive in College Station. Although I would love to see it.
I would love to that game as well.
That would be terrific. But if they're playing like Old Piss, sitting there at the 5, I think they can score enough to keep in that game, and I think their defense can actually give Kiffin a little bit of trouble. So I think JMU would cover what would probably be like a 24-point spread.
Sure.
So it's not even that hot of a take because it's a 50-50 at the end of the day. But I'm all over BYU or JMU and BYU making the playoff.
Yeah.
So I'll buy.
Yeah, I'll also buy. They are currently ranked highest. They were one spot of USF in the AP, which doesn't mean a whole lot, but just like
They're finally getting some respect, and that's good.
They're getting recognition. I it's just crazy to me that the college football playoff committee didn't rank a single G5 team in their first ballot.
They knew.
I guess.
Same thing with the ACC. They ranked the ACC low. All the ACC teams were
Everyone
bad.
talked about it for 3 days, and
Yeah,
then the
tell me
ACC
college
team
football's not
validated
rigged.
them.
Tell me college football's not
They
rigged.
ranked
Okay.
the Big 12 teams high, and BYU puts on a good show, and Texas Tech puts on a better one.
Yeah.
They knew.
Next one. More SEC teams make the playoffs than Big Ten teams. So right now, the teams in the Big Ten you're feeling very good about making the playoffs are Oregon, Ohio State, Indiana. And the SEC teams you feel very comfortable at making the playoffs right now, Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss, Texas A&M. So you're 4, more likely than not in the SEC, and 3 in the Big Ten. But obviously, you're probably going to end up with another team or 2 from those conferences, depending on how things shake out. I still feel like this is a fairly easy buy for the SEC for me, because I think you're going to get those 4 teams in from the SEC, and then another one sneaks in, whether it's a Vandy or a Texas or an Oklahoma. And then same from the Big Ten. I think you'll have those 3, and then another one will sneak in. Possibly. Like I don't see more than 4 Big Ten teams getting in. I don't really see more than 5 SEC teams getting in, but 5's greater than 4, so give me the SEC.
Yeah, the teams from the Big Ten, you said Indiana, Ohio State, Oregon. Who is your 4th in the Big Ten?
I was just saying there's a chance that another one gets in, but those were the 3 I felt good about, better than not making it.
Yeah, Indiana, Ohio State.
Like USC has 2 losses.
Yeah.
Michigan has 2 losses. Like something could happen, another team could get in.
One of those teams could, like USC plays Oregon, which is tough because if USC beats Oregon,
Then does Oregon get knocked out? Sure.
Right. Oregon right now I think they're 9th. And so you would assume that USC would get in over Oregon, but does USC? Yeah, I think that's a good bet. A&M, Alabama, Georgia are 3 teams that I feel very confident getting in. And then you got Ole Miss there. You got Texas and Oklahoma right there on the outside. I think that's the SEC putting more teams in is a good bet. So I'll buy.
I'll buy to make a few pennies because I think that's all the stock would make. They're pretty heavily favored.
Yeah, it's pretty clear
to get
cut,
more teams.
I would say.
But there's just not enough weeks of chaos left available in the SEC for that to occur. You'd need nothing short of a miracle.
Sure. Next one, JKS. JKS being Cal's starting quarterback. Starts for a playoff contender next season. Buy or sell, and that most likely means he transfers. I guess there's a chance Cal could make some roster improvements and be in a spot to contend next year. In the ACC, it may not be that hard. Who knows? But buy or sell. And if you're going to buy, give me the reasoning. The reasoning being you think he's going to transfer, you think Cal's going to turn it around.
I'm going to buy. I think he would transfer.
Okay.
I think someone makes a run at him, and I think it'll be one of these teams with a new head coach. I think that'll be what occurs. Maybe like LSU could make a run at him. He transfers to LSU in my dynasty, by the way.
He transferred in mine as well. So
Was it to LSU?
yeah. To LSU.
Yeah. He was not very easy to beat at LSU. I won't lie.
Sure.
He's a really good quarterback in the video game. And I think he would transfer to LSU. And I guess I'd buy the fact that LSU is a playoff contender next year as well.
Contender's pretty vague. Like you could go 8-4 and be a contender in spots. You were close.
Tucker hopes that because Tucker's saying he'd sell. He thinks and he hopes that he stays in Berkeley for Cal, and that is just because he's scared of him coming to an SEC team and beating the Tide.
Sure.
Right?
I'm also actually going to sell because here's how I envision this going. He stays. They have another year similar to this year, and then he leaves for like his final college year. He goes and gets his big old bag and goes and tries to make a run at winning all of it. But I think he'll stay for one more year because I'm sure Cal's giving him good money as well.
Yeah.
You don't think
I
no
honestly
one's going to give him big money, though?
I think someone may give him a little more, but I think they can convince him to stay for one more year, and he'll be bold enough to buy into their vision and be like, I can be the guy. And then it goes poorly again or not great again. It's not like it's been a terrible year, and then he leaves.
I'm gonna buy. I think, and I have no idea. This is in my scenario. He goes to Oregon. Dante Moore goes to the NFL, gets drafted, and then he goes back to Oregon. They've already clearly got a good repertoire with him. They brought him in. He committed there and was
Or is it
enrolled
bad
there.
because he left so quickly?
He left because he wanted to start, and he knew he wasn't going to start over Dante Moore. But with Dante Moore out, and clearly, I mean, he's proven himself at California playing well as a freshman. He can go there and can compete for 2 years. So I see him transferring in this scenario to Oregon and competing for national championship next year.
Very bad ball from Justin Herbert.
Can I buy stock in Sanders' take? Because that's a really good take.
You're welcome to wait. I put buy. I put sell. I meant to buy.
Austin Novosad starts for Oregon next year, so
Yeah, you're gonna reclaim him
I would
off
buy
the
that
waiver
stock.
wires.
I would reclaim him. Yeah.
I do. Yeah, I mean, I love that. JKS at Cal Tucker, but as much as fun as it is him being there and then being competitive and winning some games, I don't think that should impact your opinion or your pick or your buying or selling, because he's going to do
Sure.
what's best for him, and I think that he is going to want to take his talents to somewhere that they can be complemented and that he doesn't have to carry the team. He can be supported by the team.
I mean, De Jesus kind of been that guy. I mean, 16 receptions last night. All right, next one.
Also, can we? JP just said I had a really good take. That's a rare occurrence.
And
I'll take that.
He bought it.
That's
I
a
mean,
good
pretty
day.
big.
That's a good day.
LaNorris Sellers comes back to school. Buy or sell? I feel like this is getting more traction recently in terms of ESPN. ESPN, your cheeks right now. But just
Facts.
people in general, media personalities in general, expecting him to come back to school and transfer to a contender. Miami's being floated around, and then go next year. I'm going to go to you first, JP, because I know what you're going to say, but buy or sell?
There's no reason to.
Sure.
Because you're not guaranteed anything.
Yeah.
In fact, it's when you think of possible outcomes, human nature is to think of the worst possible outcomes way more often than you think of the best. Sadly, sometimes you get way too wrapped up in the best, and then your worst nightmares become reality. And you end up in a scenario like Garrett Nussmeier,
Yeah.
Arch Manning. Arch is a little different, but Nussmeier, where you could be the number 1 overall pick, and now you've been benched for Mr. President. There's no reason to. There's no reason to transfer. Nothing is guaranteed. Carson Beck transferred to Miami, and his stock has dropped.
Yeah.
His stock has dropped. He was still kind of on contention. They thought maybe he was going to... I'm sure he thought maybe he could still sneak into a second-round quarterback, and if he played like Cam Ward did, he'd be a first-round quarterback.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee for LaNorris that he would do that. Also, why would you go play for Mario Cristobal? There's no reason for him to return to South Carolina, which I'm sure he loves it there, because Shane Beamer won't be there. And so I would go. I would go get drafted because I also think that you could be put in a really, really good scenario where you're not the number 1 overall pick to the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
You're the number 20 pick to this Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, or you get to go to the Rams or... Sure.
Yes, you get to go somewhere that is better built for you in the future, and I would go ahead and take that opportunity more than I would risking it another year in college where your draft stock could tank again.
Yeah, I am going to buy. I agree with what you said. I just don't think that's what he's going to do. I think he'll get enticed by someone to come back to school with a big payday and, fill his head with tales of glory and winning. And
Yeah, and also not like you say you're not guaranteed anything. That goes the exact same for the NFL as it does for college, and we see guys in college making more in 1 year. I think Carson Beck made $10+ million for 1 year. Miami is the alleged
10 plus. I
what-
thought it was
what-
like 4 and change.
Was it 4?
Yeah.
Okay, apologies.
Not 10 plus.
Apologies.
Bryce Underwood.
He did make the $12 million. That's what anyway. So Carson Beck, you are not guaranteed anything, which is why maybe there's some validity to saying, well, if I'm not guaranteed anything at the NFL, why am I going to turn down the guaranteed $4 million right now to go and play for a team with the upside? The floor is I'm going to make $4 million. The upside is I can boost my draft stock and get back to where my draft stock was at the top of the first round as opposed to middle to the bottom. Maybe that matters to him. Maybe he wants a Heisman. Maybe he wants a national championship.
I think you're making my point though, because you got wrapped up in the positives.
No.
And you just mentioned the floor of $4 million. Well, the floor is also he made $4 million, but he missed out on the opportunity to be with the Pittsburgh Steelers, play 4 years of a starting quarterback, and make $160 million. He missed that opportunity potentially.
How is he making?
Because if he, let's see, went and played and he tore his ACL on the very first snap, the floor was he made $4 million. Not just that, he may have missed out on $160 million.
Well, the floor of going to the NFL draft is you tear your ACL in your first minicamp, and like.
Well, he got his rookie contract, and that's more than $4 million.
How much?
If he was a first-round pick, it'd be more than $4 million across the 4 years.
Yeah, but then you have so. But I think that you have to consider what the upside is, and for him, if he wants to like,
I understand.
I'm not saying you should let that be the only decision, but I'm saying $4 million as a floor is a pretty good starting point.
But you are getting wrapped up in that because that's not guaranteed. That's what Carson Beck wanted.
But it's
Didn't
just
happen.
so easy for LaNorris Sellers to get wrapped up in that as well, and also LaNorris Sellers to be like, "Hey, I'm really good, so why can't I have my cake and eat it too, and go make $4 million in college, and go lead a national title charge at Miami or somewhere, and then go make all my money in the NFL."
That very well may happen.
If I'm LaNorris Sellers, I'm doing what you suggest.
Yes.
But I don't necessarily think LaNorris Sellers is going to do what you suggest. That's all I'm saying. So that's why I'm going to buy, and you're selling.
He should just go be a saint. Like that's what he needs to do.
Sure.
That's what his calling is.
Except that you want him to go back to the draft then, because right now Tyler Shuck is playing well. You might not even draft him.
It's one game against a terrible
No,
Panthers
I'm
team.
kidding.
So the book is not written on Shook.
I'm gonna also buy, for all the reasons I just said. I think that there is a college out there missing a quarterback, Miami, or other schools. That's just kind of the running joke, is everyone talking about how they're looking to invest in a quarterback this offseason like they haven't done it the past 2 years.
Well, that's proven to be their strategy. So
Yeah.
do it again.
Old piss.
I just realized the score of this game is 3-2.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers took a really bad safety.
Heck yeah, I need to go back and watch that later. A team is going to go out there and they're going to offer him a bag for 1 year. It will not be the same of a rookie contract, but he's going to be confident enough in himself, which you want from NFL college quarterbacks. You want them to be confident in themselves, that he can go to a team surrounded with talent, which he hasn't really had at South Carolina, other than Dylan Stewart and Nick Harbor. That team does not have a lot of talent, and he can play as good or better than he did this last year, and then he can go to the NFL draft with the money he made in the 1 year, with a potential Heisman, with potential national championship, and the trade-off. I think that's what he's going to go with.
I think again though, you did it again of adding too many positives.
With a chance.
He won the Heisman Trophy.
He can do it with a chance for the Heisman and a chance for the national championship.
He won the national championship.
The implication was he's doing all this for a chance to do those things, because if he goes to the draft this year, he doesn't get that chance.
And all I'm saying is that's not guaranteed. In fact,
the chance is guaranteed.
Sure.
And maybe he wants that opportunity.
All right.
There's also a
all right.
chance to go be the best Steeler quarterback ever.
Next stock. DJ Lagway starts for Florida next season. Buy or sell?
I wasn't watching this game. When I saw the tweet he got benched, I thought I was getting sentelled. Someone else start with this one, because I didn't even know what to do with this. Maybe there will be context. Like, was he playing that badly? What was going on?
He threw 3 picks.
Okay.
He was not good.
I honestly, I'm conflicted here, because I'm sell. It's over from our Florida fan. That'll make my decision. I will sell. It's been bad. I do think the physical talent is apparent enough that someone will take a chance on him if he transfers.
Miami,
like
maybe?
a big school will take a chance on him.
I don't even know. I don't know about a big school. I think it could go the same way other 5-stars have gone, where it's got to a smaller.
Like what's his face
Connor
at
Weekman
UTEP
with Connor Weekman with Houston. You had Malachi Nelson,
Yes.
who's now at
You
UTEP.
think Lagway is fallen that
I
far?
don't think
he very well could.
I don't think he's a Miami
No, that was a joke.
standpoint.
That was a troll.
But like, I think he'll go to a fairly notable school,
Kentucky.
somewhere
Arkansas.
a little higher than
Arkansas.
Kentucky. I'm trying to think of like a sweet spot.
Arkansas's got money, and he
Iowa. No, not Iowa. Michigan State.
Yeah, I agree. A big school does take a chance, maybe not like a top 10 team.
Yeah.
I'm just worried, and I think it's been pretty clear that the
Auburn.
processing ability is not there to
Man,
to
I don't
succeed.
think Auburn should make that decision.
It's another swing for the fences.
Yeah.
But I'll sell. Which
I'm-
is crazy that we're
Tucker
here.
said SMU.
That's very well as a step down, but it's still technically
It's a step down, but it's a
And
bigger
you
school.
aren't in the SEC,
I agree.
so
That's
you
in the
get out of
vein.
the SEC. That's a good point.
And SMU does have good money, so they could pay a pretty price for him.
Texas Tech. They wouldn't. I don't think they're going to start Will Hammond.
Yeah.
Ideally, I'm going to sell because I think he is going to transfer. If his new head coach doesn't want him, to a smaller school than Florida,
Sure.
whether that's still in the SEC and that's Kentucky, or that's in the Big Ten and it's
Kentucky has their guy, man.
I don't know, freaking UCLA.
Sure.
Like it's something like that.
They've got the younger brother of Nico Imaliava, though.
But they could have DJ Lagway.
Yeah.
Um,
I really like I love SMU because I think that getting out of the SEC is not a bad idea for a quarterback who's struggled but is super talented, right? You can go and play against ACC defenses. That's a lot different than SEC defenses. And then maybe
That
after
worked out well for Carson Beck.
Yes, I know, but I don't think it's a bad idea. And then if you do that and you feel like you can still boost your draft stock further, then you come back to the SEC after you've developed for a year. Like,
Worked out well for Zach Calzada.
Would Clemson take him?
Probably not.
We need to ask Duncan that.
We need to ask, can we get Dabo on the phone and ask Dabo?
I'm going to throw that text in the chat, see
Sure.
if we can get a response out of him.
okay.
Next one. North Carolina makes a bowl game. Don't look now, but they've won 2 in a row.
That's crazy.
Now it has been against Syracuse, and then I don't remember who the second one is again. Let me look at their schedule. But they need 2 more wins. They have 3 more games. They have Wake Forest on the CW next week, and then a couple other games that are theoretically winnable. Yeah, you beat Stanford, and then you beat Syracuse. We have Wake Forest next week, and then Duke, the rivalry game. And Duke's the better team, but we've seen it many times again. That does not stop Duke from losing games. And
Not
then you
at
play
all.
NC State. So do they make a bowl game?
Selling. If 2 of those games were at home
Okay.
and not on the road, I'd buy. I think they'll be 5-7. Do you guys get credit if you buy and they make it on an academic?
No.
Okay.
You have to go 6-6.
Then
I
I'm
should
gonna
just make it.
No,
more clear
you
and
don't
be
have to do
6-6.
that. I'm just making sure. I'm gonna sell.
I'm also gonna sell. I think they win 1 of 3. I think they get 5.
I'll also sell as someone who was low on North Carolina coming into this season. Not low enough, apparently. Like I remember doing our preview and like biting my tongue on a couple things because I didn't want to like get burned. And then the first half of the season happened, and I was like, I should have said what I thought about North Carolina. But now maybe I was right to not say anything because if they get to a bowl game, I could end up looking foolish.
Sure.
So I will sell.
In the same vein,
Yet again, here we are.
Mississippi State will make a bowl game. 2 games left. You go to Missouri, then a bye, and then you have Ole Miss at home. You have to split them to make a bowl game. What do y'all think?
If you buy, does it count if they get in as a 5-7?
I will allow that, yes.
Okay, then I'm gonna buy.
Been there, done that.
We have been there and done that. I think we will win one of the next 2 games. We're 6.5 point dogs to Missouri this weekend, a night game in Mizzou, and then I imagine the spread for T-Sun is probably 12 or so.
Sure.
So that one's a little tougher, but it's the Egg Bowl and anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Something tells me they win one of the next 2. It just feels like that has to happen, and that team is going to find a way to get it done. For me, I personally hope it's just the Egg Bowl, but I'll take both. I predicted we'll be 6-5 going into the Egg Bowl, and I was going to be correct, and I am going to be correct.
Okay. I will buy as well, mainly just from a hope standpoint, and I'm just going to choose to believe that they can find a win out of these next 2 games. Probably the Mizzou game.
Yeah, I do genuinely believe we can beat this Missouri team.
We also get the academic pathway too.
True.
Yeah.
I mean,
I can't wait for that.
I agree completely.
What a backdoor cover.
At the buzzer.
Yeah.
All right, last one. Team in the field on conference championship week that plays in a conference championship game will lose and fall out of the field due to their loss.
Okay.
So you are y'all both tracking? It's
I-
yours,
I-
so
yeah,
you
yeah,
should
yes,
hopefully
I
you
will-
track.
because it would be SMU, Clemson play, and instead of SMU making it, they
I mean,
fall
one of
out.
the
They
Correct.
fall out.
yeah.
That's just like my example to help because that was a lot.
I agree.
Yes.
There's not precedent for this, but it's not like this is the 12-team playoffs not been going on for very long.
Yeah.
So talking about precedent doesn't hold tons of weight.
Yeah.
Right now, the best two scenarios for it to happen are, of course, the ACC with like we talked about earlier, a potential 8-4 Duke.
Well, the
That's
odds
in
that
it.
an 8-4 Duke is in the field and then loses.
Yeah, they wouldn't be in the field going into it. But maybe
Oh, yeah,
are
you're
you
right.
saying they beat a team and
I'm
the
wrong.
loss is so? Well, no, that is possible because if Duke,
No, if Duke beat Georgia Tech is,
Yeah.
I guess, what I was going to try to say.
Yeah.
If
So
Duke beat Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game,
then
so-
Georgia Tech would fall out.
if Georgia Tech had climbed back in and then fell out because
Okay,
they're not
I
in it
see.
right now.
Yeah, yeah.
Would with that with a Georgia win, would they fall out?
If they lost to an 8-4 Duke, and you have
Time will
to
tell.
make the argument against Georgia, who's sitting there, or Texas or Oklahoma.
Right, Georgia's sitting there, and Georgia Tech just got the win.
I don't know.
I don't know. Now
It's a
that's an
10-2
interesting
Georgia
bu-
team too. So I think that's where the argument is, and then the Big 12 is the other one where, let's say, BYU wins out. They are more than likely in the field going into the Big 12 championship game as like the 11 seed probably,
Yeah.
depending on what Tuesday's rankings look like. If they lose to Texas Tech again, are they getting kicked out? This is a scenario that Pate has been proposing a bunch, but
This is BYU goes undefeated, right, and then loses the Big 12 championship game.
that or
I
the
think
Georgia
we'll-
Tech scenario.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think we'll know a lot more about that when we see how the committee handles them losing to Texas Tech the first time.
Yeah.
Which we don't like. We have to buy and sell before then.
Committee,
but,
don't you dare shaft our Cougs.
yeah,
Can they move BYU below Utah? Utah was at 13,
yeah.
You'd hope not.
and so BYU is more than
And
likely
Utah also lost to Texas Tech.
Yeah,
Correct.
and BYU beat Utah.
much worse.
Yeah,
So.
that's true.
I'm
And then I do think the precedent is there that the committee is not going to drastically punish teams who have to play an extra game.
I agree. I'm going to sell. Even though I said there's not much precedent, I do think it's already been established despite 1 year.
See, McBride said BYU is going to get dropped out of the playoffs, but I think the point JP Utah is sitting there at 13. And so either you don't drop Utah below that and they're in the field, or you drop them way past that. Because I, in my opinion, that's the only way you can rank one team below another is if they're nowhere near
Well, you could
each
put them
other.
at 12 and they would be out of the field. No, because
Okay, yeah,
conference
that's-
champs
that's
would get in. So
Oh,
they
you're
would.
saying JMU's not going to finish top 12? That's crazy.
Well, they're not going to be top 12 next week.
I'm
I'm just
kidding.
saying for next week
Yeah.
they could slot in at 12, and then it's like, well, they're out
Yeah.
because the top 5 champs have to be in.
I will. Teams infield will lose. I will sell. I don't think it's going to happen. I think that every team that is in the field at the start of conference championship week will be in the field at the wait.
Well, unless 8-4 Duke wins, and then someone has to drop out because
Yes.
out of nowhere a team. Well, that's not a good because
That's-
Georgia Tech's there. But say like, okay, let me try and cook up a scenario here.
Okay, but that's also. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. So it's weird. So in college basketball, you got like bid steals, right? You have conferences with teams who
Yeah.
you get 2 bids when the second team doesn't have the resume for it. That's weird because the other teams didn't get punished in so much as like they were just like they would have been the last team in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is like a weird backdoor cover yet again to this buy and sell. I'm still going to go with the sell, though.
Yeah, it'd be hard because like I was trying to think of like an SEC scenario where the team that makes the conference championship, one of them isn't already in the field, but that's just basically impossible.
Yeah, because your
So,
top teams in the SEC right now are like Ole Miss, Georgia, Alabama, Texas A&M.
yeah,
The only teams that could end up in that spot on the fringe would be, I just don't see that happening. I think that the 2 teams in SEC championship will be 2 top 5 teams.
Probably. JP?
I'm buying the crap out of this.
Really?
So what do you think happens?
So the argument that precedent says it won't happen, well, it's 1 year,
Yeah.
so we don't know that. And that year is also different as well because we don't have the top 4 champions getting the buys.
Sure.
Doesn't hold a lot of impact to this. 2, it's a completely different committee. Committees rank teams differently every single year. I guarantee you not every single committee would have kept Florida State out of the playoff and put Bama in that year. I guarantee you there would have been committees out there that would have put Florida State in. That committee made up a rule at the end saying, well, if we think a player is missing and it impacts the level of competitiveness of a team, then we have to say that they're worse. I also think at this point, why is there any reason to trust the higher-ups in the sport that are controlling it?
Fair.
And so why would we trust that they would do what seems like the right thing? And so I think it's very possible that it could happen, and I think it will happen.
Okay.
So I'm buying this.
Yeah. And I think so McBride clarified his comment about BYU getting dropped out of the playoffs. He's saying that an 11-1 BYU playing in the Big 12 title game would be dropped out if they lost to Texas Tech again.
They very well could be.
Which
I think that's the best scenario for it.
Which would mean he's buying this. So I'm going to change JP to a buy because he's buying, not just buying the crap out. He's putting everything he has in this stock.
I think there's no reason to trust the president because it's 1 year, and there's no reason to trust the people in that room.
In my opinion, there are only 2 conferences where this could even. Oh, wait. He's saying he's selling, but he's saying. I'm confused, Andrew. You said an 11-1 BYU playing in the Big 12 title game.
Because he's saying they're going to be out of the playoffs because he thinks the committee is going to drop them out of the playoff.
He thinks they won't be in
earlier.
the playoff before that game.
At 11 wow, okay. At 11-1, he thinks that at 11-1 BYU wouldn't be top 11. Interesting.
Yeah.
The committee hates the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Correct.
I'm selling because it's not going to happen in the SEC. It's not going to happen in the Big Ten. So that's 2 conferences where that is like not really a possibility. ACC, we don't know how the ACC is going to play out. Right now, it's a possibility that they only have 1 team even in the field, if that. Their top 2 teams, UVA and Louisville, both just lost. So they got Georgia Tech left, and Georgia Tech still has Georgia on the schedule. So I don't really expect it to happen in the ACC. And then in the Big 12, I think BYU would make it even with a loss. So that's why I'll sell.
Cool. So we have 2 sells and a buy to wrap it up.
Yeah, I wouldn't play that on the odds. I would just... Okay, if we were in that scenario, Sanders, do you think they would kick BYU out?
If BYU lost Texas Tech a second time.
And they had to make the argument between them and a...
9-3 Texas team.
A 9-3 Texas team, or a 9-3 Oklahoma team, or a 10-2 Vandy. Notre Dame is sitting there. Old Miss is still sitting there.
Well, you've already said BYU is winning that game, so it doesn't matter.
Ohio State, Indiana, Georgia, Ole Miss, a 10-2 Georgia team sitting there.
Yeah. You have the 4.
I think in that, I think it'll come down to whether or not. I don't know I don't know, but I'm not gonna buy that that's gonna happen because in my opinion,
that's why I'm buying because I think it will happen.
But I think that first you have to buy that we're gonna be in a situation where that could happen, which I think is not super likely.
Yeah.
And then you also have to buy that if we're in that situation, and the team that has to win the conference championship game wins the game, then the committee will respond the way. I think there's just too many dominoes that have to fall for us to be in a situation where that hits.
I think we've hashed the point enough, and we are repeating the same things.
Agreed.